Okay, hi everyone. This video is going to be without a dog, and it's really important that if you want to learn some behavioral thing and the basic foundation that I'm going to get ready to speak about, get a notebook, a pen, also get a nice warm cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is you want to drink, but no dogs, no sounds, no driving. Be somewhere where you can really focus on the information, because what happens is sounds really simple information, but it's very detailed. So the first part about bringing a dog home is that we speak a different language than they do. Most of parents that get puppies are going to have a different platform to begin with than a dog that's gone to a rescue, even as a puppy, and been in different families. Then you've got your breed. That's really important. We've got all kinds of breeds now, and people buy them for all different reasons. They're cute, the color matches their furniture. I've heard that one. Dalmatians. But also the fact that we don't look into the breed for what they were bred to do. That makes a world of difference when it comes to training. Not all dogs are equal. So first off, if I get a brand new puppy, I'm the one that gets to start out. That doesn't mean that I wait 6 months. Their training needs to start the moment you get them and bring them in your home. Also, you want to make sure what was the reason you got the dog. If it was a service dog, if it was just to be able to take them places with you, those are trainings that you start early. You start as early as the moment they get to your home, because they're a different kind of pack, and we are too. We're a pack that speaks with language. We used to speak with body language. Now we have words that we speak to each other, and we got to learn that almost for, all the way up until 18 plus years. Dogs don't speak words, but they do speak a language, and it's a body language. It's 400 and plus body movements. They never change from China to Germany to America back to Italy. It doesn't matter where they're at. So they can consistently speak to each other, understanding some things. Now, we speak with words and body language, and we tend to give a dog a couple of days. First off, again, we have a whole bunch of things we have to look at when this dog comes into our home. We also need to make sure our family pack is on board with it, following all the same rules. So you'll hear me speak about our 3 C's: consistency, clarity, delivered calmly. And that means that when you're training a dog, it's like training a child. If you researched it enough, you'll find out that, like I said, if I look into the breed, how much exercise does that breed need? If I have a German Shepherd, they're bred to go work a field with me. If it's mixed with a lab, that dog's bred to go hunt. So I'm picking two different breeds and putting, let's say, them together. I've still got to look at what the DNA is. Where did they originate from, and what was the reason they were created? Most dogs are human created. They weren't all of a sudden by the natural instinct of the wild. So even though they have some wolf-like behaviors and instincts, we still have made them into a human dependent animal. So they look to us. Now, in their world, again, depending on what they were bred for, their exercise needs are going to match that. So if I have a shepherd that's been bred to work 10 hours a day, work shift with me, police officer, out in the field, cattle's, that's still a lot of energy, and they have to have a lot of focus. So both of those needs need to be met. I need to make sure I have enough stimulation going on for my dog. And that really goes for any breed, what I'm discussing. I'm using the German Shepherd as an example. But if I have a bird dog, they're bred to take a lot of the weather tolerance, a lot of high tolerance, so they can kind of stay at something if you don't want them doing it, like digging a hole through the fence or, chewing stuff out of the garbage can. They'll stay focused. That's what they're bred to do, not what's going on in the background, but where their present focus is. Another working breed is a team member. A hunter is, the purpose is to help you hunt, but they're a hunter, so there's some independence there. But they're all still a dog. So a dog needs a pack leader, and usually there's more than one. In my doggy daycare, I'd watch 50 dogs a day. And I would watch my dog, or they're born like pack leaders. So my dogs tend to be, I don't know how that would work out, but they would go into the daycare and they didn't play. Their job wasn't to play. Their job was to monitor a group of dogs. These dogs usually came consistently every week, so they all got to know each other, all different breeds. But there was a consistent rule pattern that the elders in the group would follow. My Chihuahua could walk through 50 dogs, Rottweiler, Doberman, and they would move out of her way. She was a leader. So the first thing when I'm training parents is to teach them you have to develop a leadership role. They're your buddy, but they can't be your playmate all the time. And that confuses a dog. So when they get to our home, we not only are looking at their diet, we're looking at their plan on potty plan structure, how we're going to do that. We're also looking at teaching them how to communicate with us as we can communicate with them. So when I train, again, I train a lot about how they interpret, how they see the world. Because if I come in and greet a puppy and I bend down and the puppy jumps up and I pet them because they're just so cute, I'm rewarding jumping. It could be once, twice, and then let's say that little Rottweiler grows up to 100 some pounds. And all these months, everybody's telling this little guy how cute he is, and jumping is just fine until he's no longer small enough, can actually just push you right over. Now it's not so fun, or the skin get ripped off, or you've got things in your hand and you dump them all because they greeted you with a jump, but it was rewarded. So now we're being inconsistent, which more humans than not are inconsistent. Dogs are actually can be more consistent. Other animals are more consistent than us, at least in their rules. So you've got to first establish behaviors that you're going to want in your home. You're going to establish commands that go with those. So it could be such as jumping. I love using this one because if you put 5 people from a family together and I'll say, what word are you using for jumping? They'll say, we're all using jumping. And then you get them each to speak. One will say, no, down. The other will say, knock it off. So now we've got 5 people speaking different words with the wrong body language, petting the dog as they're jumping, saying words that don't make any sense, and definitely haven't been taught properly to the dog. Can you imagine us having to learn 5 different languages and understand that each person's telling me to sit in a different language and I don't even speak words? That's a difficult thing. So the other part to the training a puppy when you bring them in is not only looking up their breed, getting with the family on what words and behaviors do we really want from this dog, because the more you recognize the behaviors you want, that's the goal. It isn't to correct dogs, it's to reward the behaviors you want. Then you have to have a potty schedule plan, whether they're older or younger. Most of the time, the reason you're rescuing an older dog is no one did the training in the beginning, and now they've had a long time of being confused and not being with any knowledge of how to live with us humans. So you've got to all do this no matter where the dog comes from. Second rule, after you've looked up all of that, and you know their breed, you know their exercise needs, you also, as you look at their diet, want to mirror where did they come from. Sometimes if you look naturally into a diet, an Alaskan dog didn't come from, Arizona. It came from where fish are. So maybe fish in the diet would really be good for this dog. So you want to look into things like that. Then you want to come up with a command list that everyone in the home plans on using, such as, again, off. That is a command I train parents. Get the dog off of you. 4 paws on the ground is what you want. You reward that. But parents will use down. And then they want to teach the dog down to lay down, even lay down. That's still hard. You've got down in the word. A whole different behavior is from jumping off something to now you want me to lay down on my belly. So you want to make sure you know your words. You want training equipment that you've already ready to go. And that is not a harness. Number 1 rule. It is not a harness. I will say that over and over. They were created. They aren't bad. But they definitely were created originally to help initiate an animal to pull, like on a team of sled dogs, or a horse on Clydesdales pulling a buggy, Clydesdale Budweiser team. But it's in the brain that when something presses against you, you push against it. It doesn't actually initiate your brain to pull away from it. Secondly, it teaches dogs to not pay attention to you, that you're following them. You're their pet. You're walking around wherever they want to go. That's the biggest boo-boo, because you need to be the leader, and the leader leads, never follows, ever. How would we motivate an animal to follow us? Well, the right leash, the right collar, and of course, some motivation beyond just our face. We want to have treats and things to praise them with. You want them, we work to get money because we have all kinds of things we want with that money. If you put in front of me a Reese cup or a Snickers, I'll go for the Reese cup. The Snickers not my top of my treat line. So, if I have to do something for you, I might do it on a happier and faster level once I get the treat. Now, treat delivery is another issue, and that's another video, because too many times people use it like they would a remote control for a TV. You can't let the dog see the treat. You want words that come, such as marker words. Good dog marks the behavior. Good, sit. Good, come. Good, let's go. And they realize when they hear good paired to the behavior that they are learning to do, a high reward follows. And it comes from nowhere. But when they hear the word good, it's a contract that we're making, that I marked that behavior as it's happening. So then there is a marker word for unwanted behavior. And granted, again, I'll repeat many things. The dogs are always on leash, always. And I'll tell them a little bit why. Stop it. No, but that word needs to always be used as a marker word with the behavior. Off. Leave it. Stop it. Easy. But you're teaching them what easy means. You're teaching them what stop it means. And then you're replacing it with the behavior you want. Off. Good off. Come. Good come. And come, note, is always paired with something positive. I'm sure you heard your parents say your name in a tone that you knew something great was going on, so you ran in there. Then I'm sure you had a tone that was delivered from the parents that meant something icky was coming, so it avoided at all possibility, at least as long as I can. So do dogs. They do learn this. It doesn't mean they understand what they're doing wrong. It just means they learn your tone has been paired with something not so fun, like getting yelled at or getting put in a crate, or such as come, getting told to come so you could show them something icky they did. Biggest reason never to come again. So you want to make sure everyone's got this down. Good, a marker word. It's consistent, it's clear, and you deliver it while you're training calmly, paired with a reward. Another marker word. You deliver it as you interrupt a behavior, and then you show them, just like you would a little child, the behavior you want. So remember that with little kids, we didn't just yell it across the room and hope they got it, because we know exactly what they would do. They wouldn't. We grabbed their leash and we grabbed their arm. Then that's the point, is the leash is your arm, and you have a training plan, and you're going to use that as you train any behaviors you want. So please, in this first part of my behavior, remember everything we just went over. Every dog needs to be trained when they come into your home. It doesn't matter if they're a rescue, if not even more when they're a rescue. They've been messed up. They've been let down. The humans probably didn't do any potty training, any good anti-chew training, any of the things a puppy needs to live in a human's world. Any social skills, nothing. And then they dump them, and they usually go get another dog and do it again. So hopefully if you rescued a dog, you can stick with this, and you will see that your rescue dog will be one of the best dogs. A puppy, on the other hand, doesn't mean that you will get a confident, I can learn everything dog, or that you also have the only dog that can't learn and is stubborn. That's a comment I would probably hear 10 times a day when I talk to calls from parents or even training. It's not that they're stubborn. It's that if you told me in another language, just sit, and did no language body wise that I understood, I'm going to sit here and look at you like, what? And then you may show it to me 4 times and you want me to get it under every situation in every environment. That's not going to happen. So you've got to treat the dog like we would a person on some levels, but a kid, even if they're an adult dog, if they didn't get the foundation, they're still a kid. They still didn't learn. They didn't get anything. So let me quit preaching on that, because it's one of my biggest fears with parents is they won't listen to me about keep the leash on the dog until they are really doing well. B, get some professional training if things aren't going well. It could turn around for you in a night, in a session. I've had parents have problems that were there now solved. So, not all trainers are behavioralists, and not all trainers, such as show trainers and competitive, know how to deal with behaviors. So that also means educate yourself on that area. But training never stops until a dog is past a couple years old. And even then, I still train because we need it, they need it. But what I want you to, again, remember is, what's the first thing when a dog comes into your home? Learn the breed. Why should I learn the breed? Well, I got to find out what their exercise needs are and, what stimulates their focus. A bird dog is definitely going to go outside and be distracted by a bird. A working breed is definitely going to have a hard time when you leave. You're their teammate. And they require usually 10, 15 hours a day because they were bred to work. So just check that out. It's not what AKC writes. They write more about what breeds are, the show, You want something that goes much more in depth. Where they came from, what were they bred for, and who today still uses them for those purposes. Then you want to go into learning some commands with the family. So you want to ask everybody in the family to sit down. This is not a phone call, text, or type of conversation. In face-to-face, paper. Everybody write it down. 5 behaviors you want. A sit at the door, no jumping, no barking, but maybe barks at the door when people come. You have to know what everyone's going to reinforce and accidentally reinforce and train. Accidentally reinforce, I don't want jumping. I come in. What should you tell me to do? I'm going to start telling you some basic behaviors here now. I come in, I'm going to visit you. This is called stage training. You've told everyone what they're going to do ahead of time. If I walk into your room or house, or you come and visit me, it doesn't matter, or I'm out on the street and I walk up to your dog and I look down, I'm like, oh, you're just so cute. And they're wiggling their tail. The minute I bend over, I am doing dog bow. In their language, it means jump on me, play, and you're definitely not the leader. Because a leader just would never allow that. They have another way of interacting. If you allow them to jump because you feel awkward to say something, then you're actually reinforcing it. So that's that Reese cup or $100 or whatever you would interpretate. That's a high reinforcement. They will repeat that behavior again. And when you want them to listen or walk with you properly, even when they see people, dogs, or things, if you've allowed that in the very beginning because they're cute and they're a puppy and you just want them to be a dog and have some positive experience, there was no leadership. That will not happen. So what do we do with a person that comes into our home? Look up, keep your eyes above. This is an elder. This is an elder walking in. Leadership right away. Energy, shoulders back. I'm a leader right away. I stay focused on where I'm heading and I ignore the dog in the beginning who is on a leash because the parent has control and they can be teaching other things. But while newbies walk into your home or family, everyone has to do this. So then if he jumps and you've already pet the dog before for this, turning your back and your eyes away or getting up and leaving is a very strong behavior that a dog would do dog to dog as an elder, not puppy to puppy. Puppy would walk away once they've played too hard and the other one's just being too rough and not listening. An elder would never accept consistency, then clarity, calmly delivered. So then when would you get to interact? Well, usually you wait until the puppy can calm down, and you can start training another behavior, like 4 paws on the ground gets rewarded. And if they go to jump, eye contact, body contact, everybody changes. If somebody won't listen to that rule, they don't get to pet the dog, or the dog doesn't get in trouble. They can have a relationship with someone and jump all over them and learn not to jump on other people, but they can't get in trouble for it. The human should. And so if at any given moment that human doesn't like it anymore, it's their problem and they have to change their behavior. I know you thought it was just the dogs training and dogs changing behaviors. You have to have people change behaviors. So again, I'm still in the puppy or beginning rescue dog, right? Here's the other mistake parents do. They don't teach them any commands. They get them on a leash and they take them out in public once the vaccines have been done. And usually that's like, 6 months? And now there's been no socializing, no training outside, no direction for this dog to understand how to deal with mass stimuli. And everybody wants to see the cute puppy. Again, this has to be the parent's job to learn some leadership skills. Plan your day out, okay? Plan where you're gonna go. So I don't go to PetSmart with my dog the first time they can. I don't go to a dog park. I don't go to a coffee shop. I go somewhere very quiet. So it could be a very empty park. It could be a very empty place with sidewalks where cars will go by, but not very busy. And I have my training pouch on, and I have my good leash, not a retractable and not a harness. Neither of those are training tools us professional trainers would use, because we won't get the job done. We'll have a problem. So yeah, later maybe, but not at all until the dog is trained. So now I'm ready for my outing. I'm going to do the next video on the commands that you need to have in place before you do this outing. Everybody's attention span is short these days, so videos have to be short, and I want you to understand the foundation we just talked about. So let's review really quick, see if you can tell me. I went and got a dog, it's a rescue, and I got a puppy. Should I start training them right away or wait until, they've gotten used to being in the home and with all the family? I hope you said train them right away. Have your names, your words, your leash, a basic collar, and a treat pouch ready to go. Treats can be dog food. They can be 4 cups if I'm feeding for that dog a day. I will take out 3 for training and the rest will come in the bowl or in a stimula toy like a Kong. But just remember, you first want that. And that one, when I get with parents, they'll forget all of that. And then I have to tell them, go get everything ready before you start. Second thing that we discussed is you already should know what about your breed. Exercise needs, what they were bred for. So that's going to tell you where their attention span might get focused. So if it's a working breed, cattle, it could be all kinds of things, but they're a working breed. If they're a hunter, if they're a sport dog, so you just got to really get to know exercise they will need. Because I had one shepherd that went to daycare with me and needed 2 hours at least afterwards. That's a lot of time. And if I didn't at least do that 4 days out of the week, this girl was looking like she had 20 cups of coffee. So you have to understand they're not going to get rid of that energy. You have to do something with it. Chew toys, chew bones, those are all brain toys. Just putting them in the yard is not called exercise at all. Put them on a leash, walk all around the house. That's a part of leadership. Get them to walk on one side, say their name, give them the chance to build a relationship on their first month home with you, but do it with training. It will actually create a bond. Okay, that's the end of this video. I know it was long, and I'm going to make one that follow right up on it. So this is just the basic foundation when you come home with a dog.